Hi, my name's Alex from Catalyst, and we build AI systems for small business. Last week, we talked about the creative side of AI and the structure you should use with it. And today, I'd like to talk about MCP servers and how you can use them to bring your data together. So, what is an MCP server? An MCP server is essentially just a API for AI. It's a bunch of three-letter things, but an API is essentially just data access. And what these people are doing is they're creating a version of this data access to work with AI systems. That's basically all it is. So let's say you have a CRM. Let's say you have some ops system, and let's say you have marketing. You have these different systems, and there's useful data in all of these, but they're all over the place. So like you might have stuff like customer name. You might have like, can't write. Deal info. You might have like views or like a newsletter report that are all in these different systems. And most small business does not have the money to buy large software systems or an EMP where all of this is packaged into one nice little box and all this data is in the same place. So a lot of managers, employees spend their time screwing around with different customer names, different deal info, and all of this. And at the end of the day, the business owner cannot make a business decision because they might only be looking at the data for the CRM. They might only be looking at ops or marketing, and they don't get a full picture of the whole business. And they end up downloading everything into CSV or Excel files and then trying to migrate the data and trying to get it all work. But honestly, people have spurts where they do this for like 1 to 3 months, but then later down the road, they get busy and stop doing it. So an MCP server can help solve this problem. What it does is, let's say you're working with Claude, and you're in your project, of course, and let's say you were trying to work on an idea with a CRM with a customer, but there was deal flow information. Let's say you said, I want to look at Sally and see how much work we've done, but also how profitable was the deal. In this case, you take out all the Excel files, but when you work with an MCP, this thing allows the AI to go get all of that data. So you could say under a chat, you could tell it, go get information from my CRM and my ops and pull all that information together, and something like, tell me profitability. And the AI is able to run out to these through the MCP, go filter through all the data, filter through all this data, and respond to you. And it'll say, I found Sally, and she's done 4 deals with you. And your operation says that there's 1 deal still in the workflow, and it's due next Tuesday. And this is able to be done automatically, all within a chat window. And you wouldn't have to go click over to the CRM, and you wouldn't have to go click over to the ops. It just does it for you. Now, a big asterisk here is that the AI, remember, is 70% good. Okay? So when it's going through and doing these little data searches, it's only 70% good. So you need to be the expert and call out when this thing is wrong. And tell the AI, no, please God, start telling these AI things, no, you're wrong. Go get the right data. Okay? This is what a lot of people miss. This is why a lot of people don't end up using AI, is they don't tell it no. So you say, no, go get the right data, and then give me the profitability information, and potentially make a markdown file so you can read it. These are extremely helpful. We talked about them in the last episode. But when you make a markdown file, what it could do is it could go, Sally had 4 deals. Next one is due Thursday, whatever. And within this markdown file, you can go read it and you can say, actually, AI, this is wrong. We had 6 deals. Go get this information. So you need to be the expert. You need to still know the data and understand the business. You cannot just pass all of this on to the AI, but it will make going and getting all of this random mismatched information into the same spot where you can work on it. Now, the absolute best way, in my opinion, to do this is when you get this answer here, where you like it and it's a markdown, you need to bring it back into a world that is structured. We talked about this last episode. Take this information and put it into the structure. It can be the markdown file, but if it's a lot of data, then it needs to be in a database, okay? Because this is truly the most effective way for an AI to go get information. You don't want it to be running around and making a muck. What I do actually is, if there is a system that because we do build systems, but if there is a system I don't want to remake and it's cheaper for me to just use one that exists, every month or on some period, I will take out the data that's in there and I'll put it into a database that we made. And then from here, I could use my AI, or honestly, I could use my own reporting and get the information that I want. I would not rely on AI at all times. I would more so rely on a structured reporting and a structured database to give me a structured answer, because I do not want that 70% messing up a business decision. So again, just to recap, an MCP server, you don't really need to know what it's doing other than it goes and gets data that's made for an AI, and you need to call it 70% bluff, and I'm going to say this a lot, and then migrate it to some structure. And then from that structure, you can make a good business decision. So again, my name's Alex from Catalyst. If you like this video, if you can subscribe to it or like it, or maybe even if you have a friend that has a small business that might benefit from it, if you could send it to them as well. So thanks. Have a good day.